In Australia, children and teenagers will be barred from logging into YouTube under the incoming social media ban for under 16s, after the government reversed its plan to grant the video sharing site an exemption. Now, I want to be very clear on what my issue with this actually is, because personally, I completely agree with keeping children off of the internet, but that should be a parental thing. That's a parental responsibility. There's so much out there already to help parents restrict what types of content your child is seeing online. As a baseline, you should know what they're up to and what they're doing, right? And what type of content they're looking at. So my issue with this content is, how do they prove that person is under 16? More importantly, how do you prove you are over 16? That's where I have an issue. So this is talking about how in Australia, they're passing this ban to where are going to have these increased restrictions to where anyone under the age of 16 won't be allowed on that platform, or you can just you'll be able to use the site in a logged out state. So that's basically what this is going to come to, is in order to have an account and view certain types of material online, you need to actually verify and send this company your personal information in order to prove that you are above this age. And that's what I have an issue with, because these same companies are already notoriously bad at their internet security, to where they've been breached, they've been hacked multiple times. I feel like most of your information on these platforms are also being sold by these same platforms. So if anything, they're getting a legal right to scrape more of your information than ever before. And go into the statistics, they like to scare you with this number: 37% of children online see harmful content, right? Place where, when we asked where they were experiencing harm and the kinds of harms they were experiencing, young Australians experienced harm was on YouTube. Almost 37%, right? They like to scare you with that little poll they took. This ranges from misogynistic content to hateful material to violence-fighting videos, online challenges. You like how they snuck that in there to try and inflate the numbers? Disordered eating, suicidal ideation. Now, I want to be very clear. I can understand having restrictions on that type of. My issue with is how they're carrying out that restriction and how they're verifying that that restriction is being upheld. And another thing I'm very against is online challenges. What does that even mean? Are we talking about the cinnamon challenge? What are we talking about here? Is it the ice bucket challenge? Is that being counted into this figure? They're not very clear about where these numbers are coming from. The main issue is in how you're going to be verifying this type of content. This is how they plan on actually verifying this type of content. Now, if you're in Australia, in order to have an account on YouTube starting in December, you now need to scan your face, credit card, or an identity document if you want to access some content on X, Reddit, Blue Sky in the UK, which is then being extended to YouTube. That right there is where I have an issue. It's because these companies absolutely do not take care of your data, and I actually suspect most, if not all of them, of actually directly selling your data. And I don't want to give them more information to begin with. I should not have to provide my ID just to watch a YouTube video on my account. I shouldn't have, because also, the important thing about these platforms is, let's say with YouTube, they'll say, in order to diminish its effect and its harm, they'll say, oh, well, YouTube, it's okay. You can still watch YouTube videos in a logged out state. Right. But now I can't subscribe to any channels. I can't like any videos. I can't create any sort of playlist to watch videos in. There's a lot of particular types of content I'll be barred from actually viewing, despite the fact that I'm over the age restriction. I'm nowhere near 16, but I don't want to provide that information to YouTube. I don't want them storing an actual copy of my ID on their platform, their easily hackable platform, just so for the sake of me watching videos in a more comfortable fashion, or having access to playlists that I've already created on an account that I've owned for years. If you guys have heard about the recent T-Hack situation, the T-App, where this is literally what just happened. The T-App was a women-only platform where women could talk about experiences they've had with other people in the dating world, what have you. They were required to provide their IDs to this app just to be confirmed and have an account and actually interact on the platform. And all of that got hacked, because now all of these women that have provided their ID to this platform have now had their actual ID that includes their age, their name, their location data, because you remember most IDs have your street address. So all of that information is now just out there on the internet, just shotgunned across the world. They've directly put all of these women in very clear potential harm, all for the sake of this ID verification bullshit that they really shouldn't be doing. Online anonymity has its problems, but it is much better than this culture of security and surveillance. Yeah, it gets even worse. You thought that was the worst of it? Just listen to this. Methods being used include facial age estimation. Yeah, just take a picture of your face for me real quick and send it to me, and I'll determine if that's good enough to be allowed onto this platform. Excuse me? Who's holding this information? Are they allowed to sell and share this information with other third parties? No, I do not want YouTube checking my fucking bank account information just to verify any piece of information. I don't want them to have any sort of legal grounds or right to view that information to begin with. They have no right to go through my banking information and banking details, because then they're going to store that information on their platform, and it's going to open all of us up to very clear data breaches that is really going to fuck us up significantly. Now it's no longer just, oh, my YouTube account got hacked, or YouTube passwords got breached. Let me change my password real quick and we're all good. No, it now elevates the risk to such a high degree of, oh shit, YouTube passwords just got hacked and revealed. Now I need to make sure all of my banking information is secure because they have access to that information. And they can take it even further. ID wallets, so I'm guessing like your Google account wallet or your iPhone, iCloud, whatever. You get what I'm saying. Your Apple ID. Mobile network operator age checks. That one, I'm not quite sure what that means, but I don't like it. Because it's like, if I have like AT&T or Verizon, am I going to have to like fucking verify it through my account information there? What the fuck? Photo ID matching, that's the one I was talking about, of like, I should not have to give YouTube my actual ID and trust them to be safe with it when we know they're not going to be, just for the sake of me having an account on YouTube. And then email-based age estimation. This is the only one I'm actually pretty okay with and pretty cool with, because most accounts online already require you to have an email they can like message in the first place. So those, I guess it's fine if the age matches up, it matches up. Sure, whatever. I don't like them having access to your direct email account information anyways, but that's something that's been fairly common since the internet even began, so it's pretty standard. Everything else though, I absolutely take issue with, including these platforms can either handle these checks themselves or get support from a third-party company. Well, isn't that fucking convenient? I wonder who's pushing through this legislation. I wonder who the most active voices in support of this legislation could possibly be. Because of course it's going to start with, oh, they need to provide proof themselves that they're working hard enough to ensure every person is verified and protect every child. And then it's going to go all the way down to, oh, well, actually, if we feel like you're not doing well enough, you're going to have to go and, you know, allow this third-party company access to all of your private information, including the private information of the users on your platform, just so we can make sure everything's cool and protect the kids. Like, we expect the riskiest services to use strong age checks to protect children from harm, eating disorder content, other types of harmful content, while preserving adults' rights to access legal content. Right? And I shouldn't be forced to provide my personal information just to watch YouTube videos or post onto Reddit. Have an account on Reddit, even if I'm not posting on it. I get that for a lot of people, your knee-jerk reaction, your first thought is going to be, oh, why don't you just install a VPN? Just use a VPN. Yeah, VPNs are going to solve everything. Damn. Damn. Yeah, about that. The very next clear, obvious step that these people are going to take is going to be blocking VPN access. We even had legislators in the UK already talk about that and already comment on that. Molvad was blocked, Proton VPN was blocked, Windscribe was blocked, and to make it even better, even the Onion Router Tor project was blocked by their ISP. So to everyone saying just use a VPN, it's only a matter of time before legislators catch on to that and just outright ban that as well. I'm a big supporter and keep kids off the internet. There's really not a lot they even need to see up there. But if you're like 13, you don't need social media. It's not helpful to anybody. I fundamentally believe there is a limit on how far we should go in restricting the average rights and freedoms of a person, and definitely protecting online information and people's identities online, just for the sake of protecting the kids. Now, something that's particularly disgusting is the rhetoric around this of Mr. Peter Kyle saying, if you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators. It is as simple as that. What are you talking about? That's not even listening to the actual criticism of the bill in the first place. It's just he thought he had a fire tweet and he sent it out. Thankfully, community notes, always coming in clutch, by the way. Community notes, just mwah, bless them. Since coming into force, Online Safety Act has blocked and restricted censored content that wasn't what the act was for. This includes immigration and parliament debates. Why are parliament debates being restricted? I don't feel like a political debate would be particularly like 18 and up content. But that's all I have for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.